Obviously, having it on DVD is far better than not having it at all.
Much better!
Hi guys, Q264 here, and today we're talking about physical media, more particularly DVDs. Yes, I do still collect DVDs. Now, while I mainly collect Blu-rays and 4Ks, DVDs still make up about 5%-ish of stuff that I'm adding to my collection. And there are various reasons as to why that is, and I want to share 4 different reasons for that in this video as I share with you guys some of the DVDs I've picked up over the last few months and have added to my collection. So the first reason why I still collect DVDs is because the Blu-ray is out of print. Such is the case with these 2 movies, Cocoon and Cocoon: The Return. Now the first one, Cocoon, is a very good science fiction movie, and the second one is a mediocre sequel, but still worth a watch. The first one is directed by Ron Howard, and while there was a UK release on Blu-ray, there was never a US release of Cocoon on Blu-ray. Not really sure why that's the case. A lot of times it has to do with some music rights and stuff like that. Nobody knows at this point, I don't think. And it's not available on streaming either. So if you want to watch Cocoon, the only way to watch it is to track down an old DVD, get it on eBay or something like that. Now, I got both of these for, I think it was like $7 for the first one and $5. So I got it for $12. It's funny too, they're both sealed still and have the Walmart stickers on them for the original price of $5.50 a piece, which is kind of cool and dated September 2005.
What year is it?
And I don't think these are going to get Blu-ray releases. Obviously, HD transfers of these exist because there was a Blu-ray release. Now, Cocoon: The Return, there for a little while, I do know it was on streaming. I don't think Cocoon was on streaming, or at least I've never caught it on streaming. So, again, the only way to watch this is actually have the DVDs. Now, this is put out by 20th Century Fox, which is now owned by Disney. And Disney has an aversion to physical media, so I don't know if we're ever going to get a Blu-ray release. I don't know why there was one in the UK and there wasn't one in the US. It's just one of those things. And as I said, Disney probably won't put it out. And assuming they ever do release Cocoon on Blu-ray, they're probably going to lock it behind their Disney Movie Club, which brings me to the second reason.
Rule number 2.
Blu-ray paywall. Such is the case with Flight of the Navigator. I picked this one up on DVD at the used bookstore for just $3. I would prefer to get the Blu-ray. I do really love this movie. And obviously science fiction movies, you always want to watch them in the highest quality, or at least I do. I always want to watch these movies in the highest quality available. So I'd love to see this thing on Blu-ray, but I'm just settling for the DVD. Why? Because it's locked behind a paywall. Disney Movie Club. The Disney Movie Club system revolves around you having to buy 5 new releases at full retail price of whatever it is, $25, $30, and then you can get access to their exclusive catalogs of Disney movie releases, which involve a lot of live action, old live action Disney movies. So like this, Jungle to Jungle, Man of the House, Mighty Ducks, Parent Trap, all kinds of things. Even some animated movies, like Black Cauldron, I think is exclusive behind there. I think Sword in the Stone was a Goofy movie. One of the biggest 90s movies, like for 90s kids, a Goofy movie is locked behind that paywall. So that's why I picked up the DVD, because you know what? I'm not going to pay $25 on the secondary market to get it through eBay. I'd rather pay $3 and get the DVD. So Blu-ray paywalls are a pretty good reason as to why you might just go ahead and settle on the DVD.
Well, excuse me.
Oh, and shout out to Lovecraft223 and Chad Hagar, who commented on my previous collection video and shared their thoughts on the movie Disney Club exclusives. The third reason, it's cheaper on DVD. This kind of ties into my last point a little bit, but not because of a paywall, just because it's so much cheaper on a DVD. Such is the case for this 2-pack that I picked up of Two Brothers and Flipper, and I only paid $1 for this thing.
I'd buy that for $1.
I honestly just wanted Flipper. I don't think I've ever even seen this movie, Two Brothers. I just wanted Flipper, but I only paid $1 for this. Granted, I could have gone on Amazon and got the Blu-ray for $7 $7. At the time, they didn't have it on Amazon, which was, I picked this up about a month ago, I think it was. And I didn't see it on Amazon at the time because I wanted to buy the Blu-ray. Again, I just wanted to watch Flipper. I just got done watching the Crocodile Dundee movies, and I was like, you know what? I want to watch another Paul Hogan movie. Oh yeah, he was on Flipper. So I'll go ahead and pick it up. Again, that's another reason to pick up a DVD, is because it's just such significantly cheaper than the Blu-ray is. And that's kind of why I picked up Final Destination as well. Now, this is the Warner Brothers 100-year anniversary set from Walmart. It was $10 for all 5 movies, so $2 a piece. Now, you could get it on Blu-ray. I think it was about $20 for the Blu-ray set, which honestly is not that bad either. But this is half the price, and I just came across it, and I was just like, you know what? I like the slip for it, and I don't own any of the movies. I'll go ahead and pick it up. Why not? It's half the price of the Blu-ray. And, you know, if it's not a movie that you care all that much about watching in a higher picture quality, why not? And the fourth reason, which is kind of a fourth and fifth reason, but mainly it's the most important reason, which is that there is no Blu-ray option. And there probably won't ever be, that being the fifth option. Such is the case for the X-Men animated series. This is volume 3. I already own volume 1 and 2. The X-Men animated series is quintessential 90s, obviously. There's a lot of really good episodes on here. I managed to just get this one used for, I think it was like $10, which is not bad at all. I think there's only a volume 4 and a volume 5, so I think there's only 5 volumes total. So I'm over halfway there to owning all of the X-Men animated series, and I don't think that they're ever going to do a Blu-ray upgrade to this, because I highly doubt that the footage that they have, it will ever be boosted up to an HD quality.
I don't think so.
And documentaries in particular, such as Jedi Junkies. Now, I'd say half of my documentaries are on DVD, mainly because a lot of documentaries don't even get Blu-ray releases. And this is obviously an older documentary. I was a pretty big Star Wars fan. Disney kind of made me just not care. I'm not even upset about it anymore. I'm just pretty apathetic towards Star Wars. I've actually started to go back and collect some of the expanded universe books and some things like that. And, you know, I came across this documentary. It was only $3. I was like, you know what? I don't think I've seen this one. I've seen some other ones like People versus George Lucas and some stuff like that. And I just got done watching Attack of the Dock not that long ago, which celebrates geek culture in the 2000s. And I think that, and I believe this came out in the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out. Next up is a movie that probably not too many of you remember, and it is called Amazing Grace, which is about a British abolitionist. This one came out when I worked at Blockbuster. It was a pretty good movie. It obviously ties into the song Amazing Grace as well. It was only $1. I think it was a pretty good deal. I actually wanted to watch this on streaming a couple months ago, and I couldn't find it. It wasn't on any streaming service. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just not going to watch it. And then I came across it about a month or so later on DVD for just $1. I was like, oh, I better pick it up. And to me, that's a good reason why you pick up these DVDs, because I'd rather, obviously having it on DVD is far better than not having it at all.
Much better!
Even though I think that streaming has a place, physical media has a place too. The fact that streaming is always changing up their library is just, you know, it can be irritating. And obviously all of the different streaming options out there is irritating. So while I am definitely not, I like streaming for what it is, I also like physical media for what it is. And I'm glad I threw this on the shelf. I don't really want to watch it right now, but I know eventually I'm going to want to go back and watch it. And now I have it. And it was only $1, so why not? Next up are the 2 seasons of Boy Meets World, one of the best 90s sitcoms.
Oh, life's tough. Get a helmet.
And it still holds up. This show still holds up. I actually go back and watch it every year or two. I normally skip these first 2 seasons, but these 2 seasons complete my complete series set. Now I own all of Boy Meets World on DVD. They're never going to release a Blu-ray of this. I would be highly surprised if they ever released a Blu-ray of this. And I picked up these for just $3 a piece. So for $6 for 2 seasons, it's a great deal. And I'm a big fan of Boy Meets World. I've met the entire cast. As I said, the show still holds up. I think it's really great. If you remember it back in the 90s and you haven't gone back and watched it again, I would recommend it. Maybe skip over the first season and start with season 2 or season 3. Next up is a show called Jericho. When you know, it's a great show. It's Jericho. Wow, that all rhymed.
Wow, that was weird.
Sorry, I can't hold this one up while I'm talking because the light doesn't like it. The light doesn't like Jericho. Jericho is a pretty good show if you've never heard about it. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic style, pre-Walking Dead Walking Dead style. It was a cult hit back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. And I never got around to seeing it until the last few years. I saw it a couple years ago. It was really solid on streaming. I was just like, oh man, I'm going to catch up on this show. Watched it. Great show. Was like, I need to go and buy this before it gets taken off of streaming, and because I know I'm going to watch it again at some point, so why not go and buy it again? There's a physical media in DVDs in particular for TV shows, especially the older stuff. There's not necessarily a good chance of it being upgraded to a Blu-ray unless it was shot in HD or it's a big hit and they want to actually upgrade it. I don't know if Jericho's on the cusp. I think it has a good cult following, but it is pretty niche. But yeah, I really like Jericho. There's 2 seasons on it. Solid show if you've never seen it. Next up is more 90s goodness with Digimon. This is the first volume. You can get the complete set, I think, on Amazon or something like that. But this is the first volume of the individual volume releases, the first 21 episodes. I haven't gone back and watched this show in forever, but it definitely was one of the mainstays on TV when I was a kid. I was more of a Digimon fan than a Pokemon. I thought Digimon had a cooler story. I don't know, maybe I just wanted to be a contrarian, but I honestly enjoyed Digimon more than Pokemon.
What a troubled young man.
And I recently watched the new movie, Last Evolution, which just came out, I think last year or the year before last. And it is pretty solid. If you grew up with Digimon, I would recommend checking out this movie. But as far as the actual original show goes, I'm looking forward to going back and seeing it. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I'm sure it hasn't aged well. I'm sure the animation's not that great. I'm sure the story is like not as good as I remember it from when I was a kid watching it. But I feel like it's just like when I go back and watch Power Rangers, the original Power Rangers show, I still enjoy it, but I enjoy it on a completely different level. And I go into it with a completely different mindset when I'm going to watch that. And maybe that's the case with Digimon. Maybe if I go in with a certain mindset, I can still get some enjoyment out of it. But it was only $3. I think that was a great deal to add some more 90s DVDs to my shelf. Next up is a TV show called Almost Human, which stars Carl Urban. It's a little known show. I don't think too many people ever talk about it. Only 13 episodes. I wanted to watch this on streaming a few months back, and it wasn't on any streaming service. You can see a reoccurring theme with several of these things that they aren't available on streaming, so I ended up having to go ahead and buy them. I thought it was a little bit high price. I was surprised there was no Blu-ray release of this because I think this released in 2013. It's very similar to the game Detroit Become Human, if you guys ever played that. Even though I'm not necessarily a gamer, I have played Detroit Become Human, more of a narrative style game. Pretty similar. If you like that game, I would definitely check out this show. Definitely in that same vein with AI and androids and stuff like that. But if I remember correctly, it was like a procedural, like a law enforcement type of show. I barely remember it. I saw the first few episodes and then I missed some and then it was canceled. So I really haven't gone back to see it, but I wanted to watch it and I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and find the DVD and pick it up. Next up is WCW Nitro. This is quintessential like 90s to me. When I don't watch wrestling anymore, but in the 90s, I loved WCW as a kid. I preferred WCW over WWF because WCW had the superstars, right? Plus, like WWF was like the more edgy option, and it really wasn't allowed to watch it, but WCW were kind of allowed to watch. So yeah, I really love it. I have not seen any of these matches since I was a kid. So I found this thing for I think it was like $9 or something like that. There's 3 discs in this set. And not only did I find that one, I found the Rise and Fall of WCW, another set to actually go through. So I've got all of these matches, all of these wrestling matches I get to go through, and I've been building a retro room with a old CRT TV, and that's a perfect place to watch these wrestling matches. I haven't got around to doing it yet, but it is on my list of things to do. And this is the kind of thing you're not going to find a collection of matches like this anyplace other than physical media. Good luck finding it on YouTube because they really crack down on you sharing full matches and stuff like that. Like you're not going to find them on YouTube. So really the only place to find that kind of thing is like in a collection like this. So yes, I still collect DVDs. There are plenty of reasons why anybody would continue to get DVDs, even though you're collecting 4Ks and Blu-rays. Obviously, the points I mentioned here, Blu-rays are locked behind a paywall. The Blu-ray is out of print. It's just cheaper on DVD, and you want to spend that money on building some other parts of your collection. So you take the downgrade onto DVD, or, you know, there just is not a Blu-ray option, right? There's probably a lot of, there's definitely a lot of DVDs that are never going to make the jump to Blu-ray and 4K. They just aren't. So in that case, DVD is the best picture quality you're going to be able to get and get it on your shelf. So what do you guys think? Do you guys still collect DVDs? What do you think about some of the collection updates, some of the stuff that I talked about, some of the movies I talked about today? If you like physical media videos, please subscribe and check out my back catalog. I want to thank everybody for sticking around on this video today. Thank you, subscribers. All of you are awesome. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm Geetrue64, and I always tell you the truth.